Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to HA After Dark. Winston Churchill says hello. Little Donnie says hello. I'm going to get to the point really quickly to my super chat. Thank you so much. You give me every incentive to rock these live streams. You're going to hear lately you've been hearing some whispers of this. And you're going to hear a lot more of this insanity because it's so like the Democratic Party and liberals in general seem to think that they have a lot of power to wield. Their power is dwindling exponentially. They're too stupid to realize that, well, you lose elections, you cheat, you lose elections, you pretend that Russia stole the election, you do all of these things, and then suddenly you don't have political capital. So you really can't force your will upon anyone. You can't force your political will. You can't force your political ideas upon anyone. And what they've initially said, well, we have to abolish the Electoral College. Well, why would we do that? Why on earth would you abolish the Electoral College? You couldn't even do that if you wanted to because you don't have the political power in Congress, which gets us to basic, well, how do you amend the Constitution? Well, you need a 2/3 majority in both the House and the Senate. Well, what does that mean? Well, that's 66 votes or 67 votes in the Senate and 290 votes in the House. You can't even get a majority in the House or the Senate, Democrats. How on earth are you going to pack the court, which is the most absurd? They've actually gone into a new level of lunacy, a new level of just petulant behavior. They want to, quote unquote, pack the court. They think that, well, all's fair in love and war, and, well, we're just gonna, if they go low, we gotta fight hard, or we gotta go dirty and mean. Well, you can't get dirtier. You can't get more nasty than what they've already done. But see, the thing is, they don't even have over 30 state legislatures are Republican. Okay? Over 30 state legislatures are Republican. So, state legislative elections 2018. Let's go and before we get to how ridiculous and nonsensical and impossible it is, I want to see, so how many state legislatures are Republican? It's over 30. There are over 30 governors as well. But there's another way to amend the Constitution. So you need 290 votes in the House and 67 votes in the Senate. It's very difficult. How many states? At present, the Republicans control 32 state legislatures. 32 state legislatures. How many state legislatures are controlled by Republicans? 32. 32. Okay. How many GOP governors? $33 Republican governors. Okay. compared to 16 Democrats. So tell me again. State legislatures, you have 32 Republicans. Governors, you have 33. Republicans control the House. They will keep the House after midterms. I've stated this forever. Republicans will gain in the Senate. Trump will easily win re-election in 2020. So tell me again how you're going to pack the court with an amendment. Tell me again how you're going to. So what they want to do, the dumbest thing in the world, even for them, which is a new reach, they've reached a new plateau in terms of idiocy. They want to, David Kaplan, make America. Yes. That's what would happen if you vote Democrat. David Kaplan. David, thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, David. Thank you, David. I'm fired up tonight. I am upset tonight. I'm livid tonight. David Kaplan, thank you as always. Thank you, David. Thank you very much. Now, there are 4 ways, not 2 ways, to amend the Constitution. This is the Washington Post. There are actually 4 ways. Both houses propose an amendment with 2/3 vote, and 3/4 of the state legislatures approve. Well, you already have the majority of state legislatures, 32, and then 33 governors are Republican. So tell me again how that's possibly going to change with Democrats and liberals tearing the social fabric or the political fabric of this country apart by what they want to do. And I haven't even gotten to how stupid the idea is. They want to create, they don't want 9 justices. What they want is, because you have with Gorsuch and with Kavanaugh, and then possibly with Amy Barrett, you're going to have a lot more conservative of a Supreme Court. They're very upset. And what they've said lately is, well, this is going to be very divisive for the country. So we have to fight fire with fire. And we're going to pack the court, which means that we're going to ensure when we have power that we're going to add 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 more Supreme Court justices, which FDR tried and failed to do. And what we're going to do is we're going to add 30 Supreme Court justices, so it's just going to be 39 vote. and suddenly you're going to see a lot of liberal decisions. But see, from 1869 until today, what you've needed was a president to nominate a Supreme Court justice and the Senate to confirm. They didn't like that. Why? Because they're not in power. So, Mike Freedom, thank you. Be sure to sign up for absentee ballot. Very, very, very important. David Kaplan, thank you. Mike Freedom, very important. You'll be able to make it to the and if you don't think you'll be able to make it to the polls, prevent the crazies from getting in power. Exactly. Mike Freedom, thank you. Exactly. Very, very important. Very important. I think the RNC chair is the House Speaker of the House, McCarthy, stated that absentee ballots are already increasing in Republican favor. But so this is the Washington Post. 26 of the 27 amendments were approved in this manner. So a 2/3 vote in the House and a 2/3 vote in the Senate, and 3/4 of all state legislatures. Okay, you're not going to get that for Democrats ever. You're talking about a political party that until they admit that they've fabricated Trump Russia, until they admit that they cheated Bernie Sanders, until they indict Clinton, until Clinton is indicted for the crimes that she did commit, and it's not like conspiracy, even Brett Kavanaugh, and they're calling Brett Kavanaugh conspiracy theorists. Even Brett Kavanaugh said this is a revenge from the Clintons, which it was. Okay, so the second way is both houses propose an amendment with a 2/3 vote, and 3/4 of the states approve the amendment. via ratifying conventions again. So you're not going to have 3/4. You're not going to have the vast majority of states, because Democrats don't even control the majority of state legislatures or governors' mansions. That's not going to happen. 32 state legislatures and 33 governors are Republican now. Okay, because the rebuttal is, well, this is not the will of the people. Well, then win elections. Of course, it's the will of the people. You have 32 state legislatures. You have 33 governors' mansions. You have the House. You have the Senate. You have the executive. Of course, it's the will of the people. They're out of their minds. They're out of their minds, and they're overtly lying, and they're being disingenuous as always. Their treachery will never win because it's stupid. It's like in Spaceballs. There was a quote from Rick Moranis. Oh, no, it's the opposite. Good will never win because evil will always win because good is stupid. Something like that. So Republicans will always win because Democrats are stupid. Only the 21st Amendment, which repealed, was passed in this manner. Okay, so the both houses. 2/3 of state legislatures call on Congress to hold a constitutional convention, and 3/4 of the state legislatures approve the amendment. See, again, you're looking at, this is not possible. That's why they want to do away with the Electoral College, because they know that they don't have the will of states in between California and New York. So this is actually turning out to be a pretty good segment, because I'm getting into a lot of nitty-gritty. 2/3 of the state legislators call on Congress to hold a constitutional convention, and 3/4 of the states approve the amendment via ratification, ratifying convention. So you're not going to get any of this. You're not going to get any of this. You're not going to get any of this to take place. And here is the mindset. This is a gentleman on Tucker Carlson. He is one of the people in Harvard who want to pack the courts. And the mindset is, well, you have to steal back power from a jewel thief. So, the Republicans essentially just stole power, and we're going to steal power again. We're going to steal power back. So.
Work. How is that not? How is it increasing the indeed nonpartisan? Well, when you encounter a jewel thief, you must steal things back, Tucker, as I'm sure you know. And look,
even if that were true, which is stupid, stole the election. The Democratic Party was not. They're the ones who cheated Bernie Sanders and lost. They're the ones within DNC emails who elevated President Trump. They're the ones who who demanded a simple majority when it was always a supermajority of 60 votes, or when it was a 60 vote supermajority. In 2013, Harry Reid, in typical boomerang, throwing the boomerang at the Republicans and hitting the Democrats back in the face, said, well, we don't want this filibuster and obstruction. So again, it's not a matter of anyone stealing anything. It's not a matter. So this guy from Harvard thinks that he's going to get 67 senators and 290 representatives. That's stupid. This is what they teach at Harvard now. Just it's not that it's not even feasible. It's not even part of American political thought or political culture to think this way. They knew that they knew very well that Supreme Court nominees were on the table with this election. They knew that when they cheated Bernie Sanders. Look, I am happy and I thank God Trump won, but I was right back then. And I do think that had Bernie Sanders won, and I'm glad he didn't win for a whole lot of reasons, because Bernie would have been steamrolled into almost certainly an intervention. Bernie doesn't fight back the way Trump does. But the reason I loved Bernie Sanders so much is that, and I wrote 100 articles in The Hill, the Huffington Post, Salon. The Washington Post reached out to me and wanted to write. So I knew that they were writing a hit piece, but my articles went viral. I had articles on Bernie Sanders go like 700,000, 800,000 Facebook likes. And I think it was, I'm not joking, I think it was over 600,000, one of them, Facebook likes. Who cares? But that's, and Salon went to me, by the way. Salon reached out to me. But the reason I loved him so much is because I'm like, look, we cannot have a Democrat who is advised by Bill Kristol, Robert Kagan, Max Boot, neoconservatives. We can't go from already a militant person into regime change in President Obama to now a Democrat in Hillary Clinton, who would be to the right of Obama on foreign policy and actually to the right of President Trump on foreign policy. We have peace between North and South Korea now. That's something I would have expected Bernie Sanders to do, which he could not have done, because his foreign policy would have been influenced greatly by the Democratic Party's mainstream foreign. I didn't realize that. I thought he was his own man. But he would have won the election had they, and here's why. Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania haven't voted for a Republican since the 80s. They would have voted for a Democrat if it was Bernie Sanders at the height of his whatever spell, power, belief that he really would fight for you, whatever. Bernie Sanders wasn't the, we got Amazon to remove stock bonuses and pay bonuses person. He was like transformative, whatever. Okay, now I look back at that and say, well, that's not, he's basically a DNC marketing tool now, and they're going to blame him when DeSantis wins Florida. Andrew Gillum needs Hillary Clinton to fundraise. Beto O'Rourke is not going to win Texas with gun control and a DUI conviction. So, but my point is this. They lost after they cheated. They could have actually won the election, but they picked Hillary Clinton. And even after the Access Hollywood tape, people were like, nah, not going to happen. We don't want Clinton. Then 3 days before, they said, the New York Times said Clinton has a solid electoral college lead. She won the popular vote because she outspent Trump 2-1, and she had every single major media organization on her side. So again, they could have won, but they chose not to. Mike Freedom, Democrats will do a lot of whining and not much winning. Please vote and keep those crybabies from getting power. Absolutely, Mike. Absolutely. David Kaplan, thank you. Mike Freedom, thank you so very much. But what they're trying to do is they're saying, well, let's go and be get nasty because the Republicans are nasty. No, the Republicans won elections. So they keep on saying, oh, well, look at the surveys say that the majority of Americans want Medicare for all. No, who cares, first of all? And the surveys do not ask, well, do you want your personal, do you want the country's personal income tax and corporate income tax to be over double? That's the Mercatus study. Or do you want your taxes to increase? Let's just say, because, you know, people are like, oh, the Mercatus is wrong. Let's say that you want your taxes to increase. No. Nobody's going to say, yes, I want my taxes to increase. Or, sorry, the majority of Americans are not going to say they want their taxes to increase. That question was not asked. And then even, look, let's just say the rebuttal is, well, the majority of Republicans want Medicare for all. No, they don't. You've never asked Republicans. First of all, the majority does not. I can tell you that right now from being a lot more conservative than I ever was and having conservative viewers on my channel. But the rebuttal is, well, you know what? There was a survey or there was a poll that says Republicans want Medicare for all. Yeah, but that poll or that survey never asked, would you double your taxes or would you increase your taxes at all? Furthermore, what I'm trying to get at is they don't articulate their policy objectives. They don't. There's a reason Chuck Schumer and Pelosi and the power structure within the Democratic Party, there's a reason that They're not serious about things like Medicare for all because there hasn't been a national discussion. You haven't had Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez debate Ben Shapiro. You haven't had anyone debate anyone because Democrats don't like to debate. Democrats just like to yell and shout and scream and yell and yell and scream and shout and yell and scream and shout and yell and scream and then complain that Republicans are vicious. No, Republicans are not vicious. They just win. Try winning. Try for once in your life to win without cheating. Try for once in your life to lose without blaming another country, and then maybe rebounding, and then saying, okay, well, maybe we can win now because we've rebounded. Maybe we can win now because we've removed the Hillary Clinton element of fundraising from the political party. Clinton controls the political party. She's fundraising for Andrew Gillum now in Florida. Andrew Gillum is a Bernie Sanders candidate who wants Medicare for all, but Hillary Clinton said it'll never happen. So again, they're speaking and they're so disingenuous. They say one thing, they do another thing. That's why Democrats continue to lose, because they know 100% Russia did not influence the election. They don't have evidence against Brett Kavanaugh, but they have a credible witness, but that's not evidence. That's not evidence. You need what's called evidence. Mexi Man cheese. Dems trying to pack the court, ripping off FDR. Exactly. And Mexi Man cheese, it didn't work with FDR. But what they do is lose. And then you had Michael Avenatti the other day saying, Democrats have to be ruthless or whatever he said. You're not going to get 290 representatives and 67 senators. You can't even be in the Senate, you pathetic, weak Democratic Party. Pathetic weaklings. Losers. You can't even get 67, or you can't even get a simple, 48 to 50. Losers. Even Joe Manchin said, you know what? Take a hike. Shove it where the sun don't shine. I'm voting for Kavanaugh. You can't even get, after everything you've done, all Democrats to be on board. Now with Republicans, you have rhinos. You have people who are just like Jeff Flake. You have Jeff Flake. You have, I want a publishing deal. They don't care. Jeff Flake doesn't care. And Markowski doesn't care about the Democratic Party. They're doing it for their own political reasons. Different from me. Some people are like, oh, H.A. Goodman did it. A Trump supporter for money. There's a lot more money. There are people nobody knew of before Trump Russia, and suddenly they get retweets, thousands of retweets, tens of thousands of retweets. Okay, that it's far more lucrative. This channel would be at 400,000 if I said, I'm with her now. I apologize. I'm wrong. There's Trump worked with Russia. Let me explain the links. You see Papadopoulos and Carter Page, and it's John Brennan. If you spew the mainstream narrative, you would make a lot more money. You'd be a lot more well known. In case people haven't noticed, it's not that popular to wear a MAGA hat. David Kaplan, thank you. Thank you, David. Thank you so very much, David. You don't hand matches to an arsonist, and you don't give power to angry left-wing mob. Democrats have become too extreme and too dangerous to govern. Republicans believe in the rule of law, not the rule of the mob. Vote Republican. Donald J. Trump, yes. And Trump was 100% right. Tear away at the actual fabric of this country. And this is not hyperbole. David Kaplan, thank you again. Thank you, David. Thank you. They want to tear away at the fabric of the country. They want to tear away at the social and political fabric, the thought process. They're like petulant, just petulant, arrogant people. And they don't care. They don't care. Look, they don't hide. It's one thing if they hid. They're not even hiding. They're out in the open. This is what they think of American democracy.
Tweet, pack the court. Quote, pack the court ought to be up there with abolish ICE. That is, in fact, a nonpartisan statement somehow. How does that work? How is that not? How is increasing the partisan Democratic representation on the court indeed nonpartisan? Well, when you encounter a jewel thief, you must steal things back, Tucker, as I'm sure you know. And look, I would love a sort of settlement once this is...
There's no need for a settlement. Republicans are in no rush. They don't care. Go ahead and engage in Operation Estrogen Fury again. Deploy elevator hoppers. Deploy the Cackle Street Brigade. Deploy, run, go. Screaming, yelling operators. Go. Nobody cares. Crazy people, crazy, sick, demented people yelling like baby seals were being hit over the head. Go and do it. We don't care. We're laughing at you. America's laughing at you. We're all laughing. Even the other countries laughing. Conservatives in the UK laughing. Everyone's laughing. People in India are laughing at you. People in Nigeria watching American politics laughing at you. They're all laughing at the Democratic Party. They're not laughing with you. They're laughing at you. You are not a comedian. You're pathetic. Engage in all the craziness. What do we care? You're the ones who lose elections because you cheat and then blame Russia, and then you're going to lose again, like I stated. You're going to lose the House again, and Republicans are going to keep the House, and they're going to keep the Senate. I've stated this. Deploy the operator, the elevator hoppers. Who cares? Operation Estrogen Fury didn't work. Not going to work. Tamara Friedman, thank you. Tamara Friedman. Thank you, Tamara. Thank you. David Kaplan, thank you again. Tamara Friedman, thank you. Ross Lumbus, Aussie's here. Aussie here. Never mind, cancer survivor remission. OBG Stephen Breyer, 80 years old. If Trump wins 2020, both could be replaced. Yeah. I mean, that's, David Kaplan, it's boom. Thank you, David. Thank you. They knew what was at stake. And their treachery. And I tell my buddy this, which he laughs at this. I go, your treachery will be repaid in full. I sound like somebody from Lord of the Rings or, one of those. Their treachery will not go unnoticed. Their treachery will be repaid. We're going to pack the courts. You're not going to pack anything. You're not going to do anything. You're not going to pack anything. You're going to lose the House again. You're going to gain. The Republicans are going to gain more seats in the Senate. So tell me what you're going to do. Go poop in the streets. I don't care. We don't care. Go poop. Literally poop in the streets. Go poop right now. Go do it. What do we care? Poop all over the streets. Scream, yell, shout. I don't care. Hollywood, I don't care. We have Netflix now. We can go to YouTube. We download movies, whatever. We don't, I used to sneak into movie theaters growing up with my friend. It was like an amazing experience to go to a movie theater. Okay, now it's whatever. I don't really go Hollywood, be upset. Have Lady Gaga and De Niro, everybody. You can be as upset as you want. We don't care. We're laughing at you. Go pack the courts in your alternate universe where you can get 2/3 Senate. You can't even get a simple majority. Weak losers. You're not going to do anything. You're not going to do one thing. So keep on trying to threaten, keep on trying to intimidate. Make sure you don't go up to the wrong person eating lunch or dinner. Make sure you don't take a MAGA hat from the wrong person. It might not be a good day for you. Notice how that guy took the MAGA hat from a teenager, just like a teenager. You don't try not to do it from a grown man. Something might happen that you might not like. We're going to get in their faces. Who cares? Not everybody's Jeff Flake. Somebody gets in the elevator with me and they start yelling, depending on, I just, bye. I'm like Orrin Hatch. I do the Orrin Hatch. Bye-bye. Later. Bye-bye. See you later. Have a nice day. We got into the elevator with Jeff Flake. So what? Jeff Flake is a fool. He's a fool. He's an absolute fool. Okay? I just want another FBI investigation. Can we do 18 FBI investigations? How about 17,000 billion FBI investigations? I just want to be righteous. You're not righteous, you fool, Jeff Flake. You didn't do anything. You allowed people to intimidate you. You allowed people who ran into an elevator to intimidate you. So whatever. These people aren't storming the beaches of Normandy. They're running into elevators and yelling. Okay, just put earplugs. You're fine. Okay, that's the thing. Republicans need earplugs. Just give them free earplugs. Very simple. Go to CVS, not at night in LA. Otherwise, you get the tweakers and the meth heads. Don't go to any drugstore in LA past 11 o'clock even. Don't do it. 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 Don't do it, because you're going to get the people that it looks like they've been rolling around in the bushes and just like you're kind of dressed okay, but you're all dirty. Why? Why is that? I told you my story not long ago. The security guard and I were looking at each other. The security guard was a black woman. I was in line. There was a dude in front of us, a guy in front of us who was like this skinny white guy, or no, in front of me, like meth head, and like rolling around in the bushes and stuff, like wearing decent clothing, but then all like he's just slept and a young guy, not somebody who's like you can look at, young guy. I'm not talking about the homeless. God bless the homeless. God bless actual homeless people. This was a drug addict, somebody very likely who was a drug addict. And I was looking at her, the security guard, and she was looking at me. And then I was looking at the manager. The manager, calls in. I think what it was. He was about to then look at her, and then say, oh, security, this, because the guy had stolen something in his pockets and he just ran out. We just all looked like, oh, and then batteries fell out of his pocket. And I'm looking at the security guard, she's looking at me, and we're just like, and the manager, the manager didn't do anything. Good. He did the right thing not to do anything. We're just there like, what's he going to do? 12 at night, he's going to run and catch this guy because the guy tried to steal batteries. But that's just, that's the Democratic Party. It's a meth head that failed to steal things. They didn't even call the cops. Do you understand? Just like, whatever. Just get through the night. Just survive the night. Just survive the night. Gabbers, please, everyone, vote GOP in November. It's about protecting the president. That's absolutely. Imagine, okay, chairing the finance committee. Yeah, that's right. Gabbers. Boost Brigade, H.A. loving this. The elevator hoppers are the most elite warriors, rivaled only by the noble skill of the screechers. Elevator hoppers, deploy! Cackle screech. Operators, deploy! Gabbers, thank you. And I agree with you. This is about protecting the president. Because guess what? The president, he didn't say lock her up for no reason. He didn't say you'd be in jail for no reason. Hillary Clinton knows exactly what's taking place. They know exactly what's taking place. Thank you, G. Taylor. They know exactly what's taking place. The lifeblood, the epicenter of all of this is Bill and Hillary Clinton, the Clinton Foundation. They're the ones, ask Andrew Gillum in Florida. They're the ones that control the DNC. The DNC was essentially bankrupt. Hillary Clinton said the DNC was bankrupt. Well, she bankrupted the DNC. Politico did a story. Several stories about how they funneled money from state Democratic parties into her campaign, which is illegal. I wrote a Daily Caller articles talking about how it's illegal. It is illegal to do that. It is illegal to have correct the record as an extension of the Democratic Party. It is illegal. Again, they don't care. They don't care. They keep on losing and they don't care, but they're not going to pack the court. This is the mentality. Here it is again.
Well, when you encounter a jewel thief, you must steal things back.
No, you must not steal things back because there was nothing stolen from you. You lost. That's why the majority of state legislatures, governors' mansions, the House, the Senate, the executive, and now the Supreme Court all lean conservative because you lost. Because you're a failed political party and you lost elections. I don't care about surveys. If the majority of the Republican Party wanted Medicare for all, they would not have elected Trump. Mexi Manchis. Did you see vid of a brainwash chant before? Yes. Mexi Manchis. It was more of like to try to get all of them. Oh, Nachos live stream. Awesome. Make sure to watch Nachos live stream. But did you see these dumb chants? Because I guess people were loud, and so like drones, like people who were just zombies, like meet us at the top of this in front of the Senate building. Bring the pink hats. Bring the pink hats. Okay. Long live, Cackle Screech. They were trying to coordinate in that manner. But here's, again, I'll just, I won't read this again, but at the Washington Post, there are 4, not 2 ways to amend the Constitution. All of these 4 ways to amend the Constitution, it is impossible for a failed Democratic Party to achieve. People are becoming more, I would say, more libertarian in their thought. Maybe not more conservative. They just don't want to be messed with anymore. They don't care about Russia. They're tired of being called sexist and racist and everything in the book. They're tired of being called Mussolini. Democrats have taken the most extreme liberal, courses in college in Berkeley and then said, well, this is the new Democratic Party. Everyone feels this way. No, they don't. No, they don't. And November 6, 2018, I'm telling everyone to be here. Be here on this channel. I have stated categorically that the Republicans will keep the House even before the Kavanaugh debacle. And now I'm even more certain. You have nothing to fear from a Democratic Party that is just going to yell and threaten and shout and provide ultimatums. You cannot provide ultimatums when you are in a position of weakness. And they're in a position of weakness every day. They become more exponentially weaker politically. So you're not in a position to call the shots. Okay? If you owe the mafia $1 million in gambling debt, you don't say, well, you know what? This is what we're going to do. It's like, no, you're not going to call the shots. You're not in a position of power. So you're not, Democrats think that they're in a position of power because they control the media. And they're like, well, the Supreme Court's decisions lately have been, look at Citizens United. Okay. Then why are the majority of state legislatures, governors' mansions, the House, the Senate, the executive, why do they all lean Republican? And we're talking about over 30 state legislatures. This is not like, just by a razor thin margin. You do not hand matches to an arsonist. You don't give power to an angry left-wing mob. Democrats have become too extreme and too dangerous to govern. Republicans believe in the rule of law, not the rule of the mob. David Kaplan, he's so right. And the problem is they don't, and I keep saying this and they think that it's like nonsense. Hillary Clinton runs the Democratic Party. You cannot have social justice and neoconservatives in the same tent, quote unquote. You cannot have that, Democrats. You're too stupid to realize it. So I'm going to tell you, but no doubt nobody listened to me when I was on the left. No doubt nobody will listen to me now. I don't care. I'm actually glad you're not going to listen to me, because if you did, Democratic Party, you would actually have a decent, normal political party. Not everything is an extreme. Trump is not Mussolini because you say he is. He's not Pol Pot because you say he is. You have to prove something. Just because Kavanaugh had an allegation doesn't mean it happened. It could have, but then again, you would need evidence to say that it did. You cannot control things based on allegation, and you can't say, well, there's a high confidence from the CIA under John Brennan, who hates Trump with a passion, that Russia stole the election. You have zero evidence of that, and everybody yawns. Everyone's like, another, okay. Sub Hard Bastards fans, Hard Bastard fans, I see you all here in the chat, loving your videos. HA, thank you, John. Thank you, John Soslowski. Thank you, John. You do not get to threaten or dictate anything. You are the politically inept. You are the political party dwindling in prestige, dwindling in influence exponentially every second. You could go ahead. Clinton's going to get indicted eventually. The writing's on the wall, even more so than the House remaining Republican. When the House remains Republican, like I've been saying since May, even before May, but on RT's Crosstalk, on television, then my Daily Caller article, and then every single day on social media, then every single day here, not only will people say, okay, HA, you were right, fine, forget about that. I know I'm going to be right. Just like that Clinton couldn't win, that she would lose to Trump. Now I'm like, making it known. I'm saying this every single day, but they are going to be at their weakest point ever, the Democratic Party, and their most frightening. I'm going to say this to the 1,000. They are going to then say, we're going to pack the court. Sorry, Donnie. When they are at their weakest, they are then going to act in an irrational manner and say, we're going to pack the court. How are you going to do so? Well, when we get into power, we will get 67 senators and 290 representatives. It's not going to happen, Democrats. You're not going to pack the court. You're not going to actually do anything. The next 2 years is pretty much going to be run by Trump Republicans. And you better offer an alternative, because if you continue to say that he is Genghis Khan or Pol Pot or Mussolini or whatever, you continue to go the identity politics route. You continue to go the Hillary Clinton, I'm with her route. You continue to, this is exactly what took place. The progressive Bernie Sanders supporters have been utilized. I keep telling them they're being used and abused. Nobody listens. They keep spewing. I've gotten into debates now with Bernie supporters. They spew the same I'm with her nonsense. Well, he speaks to the prejudiced people of the world. He has the subliminal vote. No, there aren't. There's no fascist vote in Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania. No, he won because Hillary Clinton was repulsive and people did not want Clinton. Luke St. Martin, Democrats will get nothing and like it. Exactly. I keep telling, and if it's 1,030 people watching, if you're a progressive, if you're a Bernie Sanders supporter, watch what they do to you. They are going to descend upon you. First, the Green Party. The difference between the Green Party and a Bernie Sanders supporter, the Green Party doesn't care. If you're a real Green Party person, you don't care what happens. Alyssa Milano can say his play. Perhaps the Russians influenced the Green Party. And Ajamu Baraka does not care. Jill Stein does not care what you think of her. So God bless the Green Party on that. They're awesome. I'm a Trump supporter, so I obviously disagree on a lot of things. But one thing that real Trump supporters and Green Party people agree with is they're against regime change. They want soldiers, American soldiers, to be brought back home. They are against neoconservative foreign policy that Hillary Clinton and President Obama adhered to. So in that respect, there actually is a link in terms of foreign policy, at least. The Green Party is very happy, likely just with one aspect of Trump's foreign policy, peace between North and South Korea. Everything else, okay, they don't like about the Trump, and fine. But to the 1,030 people watching, they will descend upon the Green Party first on November 6, 2018, when we party on this channel. When we say, we told you so, the Democrats will descend upon the Green Party with hate and with blame and with hilarious conspiracy theories. Well, I just think that, maybe it was another country that influenced the Greens. I mean, this is Trump's America. Why would the Green Party do this to the I'm with her crowd? We've been so nice. We've been so nice. Why would the Green Party do this to us? If it wasn't for the Green Party, we would have had our majority in the House. Elevator hoppers, deploy. First of all, they're very likely not even going to get close to the 23 seats they need, net gain seats, but they're going to blame the Greens. And then after the Green Party, guess who they're going to go after? The Bernie Sanders voters. And the Bernie Sanders voters, no, don't go after us. No, we've done everything we could. And they're going to go after Hollywood and everyone. The left is going to implode. The identity politics people and Hollywood and the I'm with her are all going to team up against the Bernie Sanders people. Like I said, that would happen. I'm calling not that I'm Nostradamus. It's obvious writings on the wall. They will say that it was because of Bernie Sanders. We went and we gave you what you wanted, Medicare for all. First of all, Bernie Sanders had like 10 different major paradigm-changing things, like breaking up too big to fail banks, which, by the way, Alan Greenspan talked about. So you had conservatives, you had people on the right who would actually agree with breaking up too big to fail banks. I think Rand Paul is for it also. You don't see Elizabeth Warren talking about that. That's bizarre. Why? Because Democrats, and now I have 1,052 people, I'll tell you the secret. Do you want to know the secret? Do you want to know that secret little thing that took place? Okay, what happened was Hillary Clinton, very likely, or somebody within the Democratic Party of the power structure said, give them Medicare for all, let them eat cake. It'll never happen anyway, but it'll get people riled up and they'll vote. Because Medicare right now has $7,600 out of pocket on average. And we won't explain how we're going to tax people. We're just going to talk about people not having health care and pretend that Medicare right now is this amazing thing. We're going to go ahead and Bernie Sanders said, look at the Mercatus study. We're saving money after 10 years. Oops. The Mercatus study said over doubling is not sufficient of personal and corporate income tax. But we're not going to have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez debate Ben Shapiro, which would have had 20 million views. No, it would have had 1 million, 2 million views on YouTube. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez could have said, here is how we're going to pay for it. Here is why it's moral. Here is what, and you would have had, and then the news stations would have talked about it. It would have been a moment in political discourse where you lay the case out for Medicare for all. And if, by the way, you couldn't back it up, then you would find other ways to make it more feasible. But no. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to debate your political objectives with the opposition? Why would you want to do that? That's horrible. You're giving them a voice. You don't want to give them a voice. That's really bad. We don't give people voices who we find offensive or horrible. So what happens? The progressive circles talk amongst themselves, and they get themselves more motivated and enthusiastic. And oops, 435 different congressional districts have to, 23 of those have to flip. They're going to flip. Just like Papadopoulos and Carter Page were going to flip and sing. They have to flip from Republican to Democrat, meaning the people in those red districts, yes, those red districts, those districts that already have a Republican, get it, Democrats? Let's speak slowly so you can understand. We don't want to give you a headache with all this knowledge. So 23 districts that already have a Republican in a soaring economy that's doing extremely well, with a foreign policy that has peace between North and South Korea, with corrupt FBI and CIA officials that already were finding out tried to have a soft coup, tried to frame Trump and state that Russia, even Beto O'Rourke against I was listening to Ted Cruz and O'Rourke. O'Rourke is not going to win. Okay, you don't go into Texas and say you want gun control. That's stupid. But again, the Democrats are like in their own little echo chamber. But Beto O'Rourke went there. He said, well, they attacked our democracy. They attacked our democracy. This is Helsinki. Look at the Helsinki summit. And then George Will said this was, yeah, but George Will is a great man, but he's part of the establishment. The establishment believes John Brennan. There's no evidence of anything. There's no evidence that Facebook ads swung the election. Jackie Evans, I'm so loving Dem debacle right now. Makes me so happy, basking in the estrogen. Operation Estrogen Fury Overdose. Jackie, we have not seen anything yet. They're going to descend into a far more frightful, and really, it could get scary in terms of the ultimatums that they give, which is scary and hilarious and amusing. Thank you, Jackie Evans. Thank you. They are not going to they're not going to stop pretending that they have power when they have even less power. So Jackie and 1,070 people watching, pretty good for the middle of the night. This is what's frightening. This is what should keep everyone up at night. They're not going to stop pretending that they can call the shots, that they can engage in ultimatums, that they can threaten. They want to pack the Supreme Court because they want to create a new amendment to the Constitution, the 28th Amendment, that allows apparently liberals to pack 2 or 3 extra Supreme Court justices. And they want this because they think they can get 290 representatives and 67 senators. They're out of their minds. They're out of their minds. And they don't see how stupid they sound. They don't see how petulant they sound. They don't get it. They have no clue. They have no clue. And the reason is because they have no specific legislation. They have no specific value system. You cannot have a political party. Forget about whether the identity politics people are right. Maybe they're right. Forget about whether the Green Party is right. Maybe they're right. Forget about whether the Bernie Sanders supporters are correct. You can't have a political party with identity politics people, Bernie Sanders supporters, I'm with her, social justice warriors, and Max Boot, and Bill Kristol, and Robert Kagan. It doesn't work that way. It will never work that way. You have people who hate each other under the same tent or umbrella or whatever. And then you have the socialists, by the way, people who claim to be socialist. It will never work. And because the lifeblood, the heart and soul of the Democratic Party is Hillary Clinton, a person everyone within the Democratic Party really doesn't like, they will never, ever, until she's indicted, which she eventually will be, they will never rebound. Because all roads lead to the Clintons. Fundraising, the mainstream political attacks, everything. Even Brett Kavanaugh talked about it. Forget about me. Brett Kavanaugh is going to be the next Supreme Court justice, and he blamed revenge and retribution from the Clintons. That's not hyperbole either. He knows what's going on, because it was, Bill Clinton couldn't keep it in his pants in the Oval Office, and he was part of all that with Ken Starr. But again, everything is it's a conspiracy theory to them, so they don't even know. No. They don't want to admit that their political party is done. They don't want to admit that they have no power. So then they talk now about packing the court, and their mentality is, well, the majority of the country, I guess doesn't watch Fox News. So the majority of the country watches, let's say, all combined, watches late night and MSNBC and CNN and reads the Washington Post and the New York Times. So they think what's rightfully theirs is power, even though on the ground, even though politically, they continue to lose elections. So that disconnect there, that cognitive dissonance, they can't look in the mirror. They'll turn into stone. It's like if they look in the mirror, it would be the equivalent of Medusa looking into the mirror. They would turn into stone. They can't do that. Because they look in the mirror, they see Hillary Clinton, they're like, oh my God. But this is the mentality.
How is that not? How is increasing the partisan Democratic representation on the court indeed nonpartisan?
Well, when you encounter a jewel thief, you must steal things back, Tucker, as I'm sure you know. And look, I would love a sort of settlement once this is all.
You don't. First of all, you are not in power to dictate a settlement. You have no power or influence or prestige to dictate any settlement. That's number one, so don't kid yourself. And this is the Democratic Party talking, not just one gentleman. This is and then number two, nobody stole anything from Democrats. They're the ones who cheated and lost. They're the ones who asked for a simple majority and lost. They're the ones who used all their political capital for 2 years. For 2 years, they did not stop. They did not stop for 2 years. Every day, we're going to impeach Trump. We're going to get Trump. He worked with Russia. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. They have no evidence. Brett Kavanaugh threw ice, and there's a credible witness. And No evidence. They need to look up what the word evidence means. There is evidence of Clinton's crimes, not just with the Espionage Act, U.S. Code 793F, with a whole bunch of different crimes. Rudy Giuliani stated there are legal statutes, 20 to 30 legal statutes regarding RICO laws. That's Rudy Giuliani. And he's convicted people under those statutes. And he said the Clinton Foundation falls under those statutes in terms of violations and breaking the law. That's just for RICO, the RICO laws. You want the Espionage Act? Even if she didn't mean to transfer top secret intelligence from SIPRNet, JUX, and SCIFs, she transferred illegally top secret and special access program intelligence. Even Peter Strzok and James Comey acknowledged this. This is evidence of a crime, and you can't just simply say she didn't mean to do it, because even under U.S. Code 793F, if you don't mean to, if you don't have the intent, you still go to jail. But they don't get it. They don't understand. They think they're entitled. They're petulant, they're arrogant, but they're also inept and ignorant. So you combine all of those traits and you have the modern Democratic Party. And they wonder, well, why did we lose? One thing is, Trump doesn't speak to this vast voting base of really horrible, bigoted, prejudiced people. This is 2018. You don't need to have subliminals to racist or horrible people. Hillary Clinton used a 3 a.m. ad in 2007 against President Obama. 2008, before the Texas Democratic primary. That's because there were enough actually bigoted Democrats who would look at that and say, maybe we should just go with Hillary because we want her to answer the phone at 3 a.m. We want her to answer the phone at 3 a.m. So she was actually speaking to people for votes. That's what a dog whistle is. Democrats always use this stupid thing like, well, he's using the subliminal voting tactic. No, there aren't enough horribly racist people to win elections. Not in 2018, maybe in 2007. That's why she spread a photo of Barack Obama in African attire. And then in the 90s, she called black youth super predators. But again, Democrats are just okay. It's not whataboutism. That's another thing. Whataboutism. That's a hilarious rebuttal. David Kaplan, Kavanaugh and Trump. Thank you, David. Kavanaugh and Trump were not on trial. It was simply a smear campaign by vile, ugly mobs trying to litigate the presidency again and again. Exactly. That's another ridiculous rebuttal from them. Well, application, it's not a legal proceeding. Well, then, no, in life, when you are ordering dinner from the waitress or waiter, you don't get to say, I didn't order the salmon. I ordered steak. Sir, it says right here, I wrote this down. You ordered salmon. No, I didn't. I ordered the steak, and I don't care what you wrote down. That's your recollection. Manager, you have no evidence that you ordered the steak, dummy, Democrat. So they just make things up. And they just make things up. They just make things up. David Kaplan, they just took it out of the derriere. Mike Freedom. Our founders gave us a republic. If we can keep it, vote. Exactly. They don't like the fact, Mike Freedom, that it's a republic. They don't like the fact that the Constitution doesn't change. The Constitution is a pretty brilliant document. The Constitution ensures that Democrats don't get to pretend they can call the shots. The Constitution ensures that you just can't pack the Supreme Court. Whenever you hear that stupid phrase, share this segment, this YouTube segment. You can't simply pack the court because you say you're going to pack the court. You can't simply say, oh, well, we're going to ensure that since Republicans have more conservatives on the court, I mean, with Gorsuch and now with Kavanaugh, and well, now we have Amy Coney Barrett, by the way. Amy Coney Barrett is going to be the next, and she's going to actually replace, very likely, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So can you imagine that's the antithesis ideologically? Kennedy and Kavanaugh, yeah. But you're not going to do anything in terms of influence. What are you going to do? They spent 2 years impeaching Trump on a fabricated. And now we're going to find out how they framed Trump. And now we're going to find out who leaked the Ford letter. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny how David Calvin, but they pissed everyone off. They pissed off everyone, and that's about to flip on them. Exactly. Well, they overplayed their hand again. They overplayed their hand again. And again, and again, and again. They don't know how to because they don't have anything of substance. So David and Mike Freedom, thank you. David, thank you. They don't have anything of substance. So they just have anger and rage, and that's it. But now we're going to find out who leaked that letter. Now we're going to find out who allowed the Steele dossier to begin an FBI investigation, to start an FBI investigation. So who allowed that? How do you investigate an incoming president based upon documents purchased by his political rival? Again, to the 1,100 people. How do you investigate a political rival using evidence you purchased? How does Hillary Clinton start an FBI investigation with the Steele dossier that she purchased? How on earth does that happen? How on earth does that happen? How do you purchase evidence? How on earth do you purchase evidence and then start an FBI investigation? And now George Papadopoulos is all over Twitter saying, you know what, we're going to get to the bottom of this. They gave him, 2 weeks in jail? It's not even. Hopefully he doesn't serve a day. The guy was completely set up, and it was all gossip. It was complete and utter gossip. So how do you do this? Then you have Michael Avenatti, who Alan Dershowitz is constantly taking to school on social media. But this concept that Democrats have, we're going to fight dirty now. We're going to fight fire with fire. We're going to fight fire with fire. You don't have any, you have zero political power now because you're going to lose the House. And not only will they lose the House, this is very important for the almost 1,100 people watching in the middle of the night. Not bad. Thank you to everyone watching. Tell your friends about this channel, especially be here November 6, 2018. Not only do you have no political power, but after November 6, 2018, you will be at your lowest point ever. Well, not ever. I mean, the Civil War is obviously the lowest point of the Democratic Party, but you will be at your lowest point ever in over 100 years or 150 years. And you will then not be able to dictate anything. You won't be able to pack the court with your 67 senators and your 290 representatives, or the majority of state legislatures and governors' mansions that are Republican. You won't be able to do anything. And do you know also, ladies and gentlemen, a little secret? Almost 1,100. We want to know a little secret. The media is slowly going to move away from the Democratic Party, meaning that there will still be the quote-unquote resistance, but you're going to see a lot more favorable articles on Trump because the media, like the deep state, like the intelligence community, like the CIA under Haspel and the FBI under Wray, is going to gravitate towards power. Democrats signed a deal with the devil. And they're going to wonder why. They're going to say, why? How did this happen November 6th? They're already melting down. But they can't cheat in 435 different districts. They are now seen as lunatics. Now, when there's a razor close, a thin margin of error, now, well, first of all, they're only 2-8, and 8 Republicans are 8-2 in special elections. 2-8. They're 2-8 in special elections, 2 wins and 8 losses. They've only out of 10 special elections, they've only won 2. Republicans have won 8. Republicans are 8-2. Pretty good. I talked about this in my Daily Caller article. Pretty good. So tell me how you're going to dictate anything. Tell me how you're going to, this is what we're going to do. No, we're not going to do anything that you say because you have no political power anymore. And, Hollywood is not, the moral arbiter. Everyone laughs at that. You have Harvey Weinstein started the Me Too movement because of Hollywood. Because the people in Hollywood are vile and immoral and disgusting. And then they're the same ones who then say, well, Trump is this madman. 60% of Americans, according to polls, and the polls will be dreadfully wrong again. 60% of Americans, according to polls, on November 7th, 2016. On November 7th, 2016, didn't like Trump, had an unfavorable view of Trump. 60% of Americans on November 7th had an unfavorable view of Trump, according to the polls. Guess what happened November 8th? He won the Electoral College. Do away with the Electoral College. Pack the courts with an amendment to the Constitution. I'm telling you, they are very close to saying, well, we don't need Congress. Let's just have a Gallup poll. Let's just have one of the polling companies or polling sites. You know what? Let's have the New York Times control the political system of the country. We don't even need Congress. They're going to devolve into not just rewriting the Constitution. Maybe we should do away with the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, We don't need anything. We don't even need a government. We could just, whatever we want. They're going to devolve into madness. But I have to read this to you because I know it's torture, but, it's important. Because when it happens, I will have said this before the Kavanaugh debacle, which now it's like a certainty. The Republicans will keep the House, but this is under hilarious press. Kavanaugh controversy is energizing Democrats more than Republicans. The Hill, 3 new polls show Democrats really could flip the House this November. Vox, NBC, voter registration data suggests Democrats' long-awaited for blue wave will crash over Republicans in November. These trends suggest Democratic midterm wave will get bigger. New York Magazine. Politico, 60 GOP seats, House seats in danger. NPR, Democrats' 2018 primary turnout mirrors previous wave elections. President Trump's red wave prediction could sink GOP. Axios, University of Buffalo, UB's expert election forecast model predicts big House gains for Democrats. CNBC, GOP heading for midterm wipeout as blue wave scenario gives Democrats a 12-point generic ballot lead. If it holds up, that 12-point margin would suggest a blue wave large enough to switch control of not only the House but also the Senate. Fox, new 2018 midterm poll has Democrats up 14 points on Republicans. Bloomberg, GOP braces for the Democratic surge in November. New Republic, the midterms are still shaping up to be a bloodbath for Republicans. Bloomberg, all crystal balls say Democrats will gain in midterms. Whatever your prediction method of choice for this moment, the main question is, will the Democrats get closer to 70 seats? Ahead of midterms, Democrats leading cash candidates and voters. NBC, CNN, Democrats' midterm advantage holds among likely voters. CNBC, Democrats have a 70% chance of winning the House, according to Nate Silver, 538 forecast. Then on 538 a month later, Democrats have an 83.1% chance to control the House. Wow. Then Vanity Fair. This is one of the best ones ever. Vanity Fair. Get over your election needle PTSD. The blue wave is real and it's a monster. All the fundamentals are pointing to a Democratic tsunami rumbling offshore, even if we're being too careful about saying it. And what's staring us in the face is a big blue Democratic takeover in Washington. Wow. The Democratic wave is growing. CNN, there's zero evidence a red wave is forming in 2018. CNN, blue wave may be building in Texas, the Hill. Is Democratic socialism the next big wave in the midterms? MSNBC, Axios, Democrats, blue wave could crash over GOP agenda in Congress. MSNBC, Democrats now have a double-digit lead in polls. New York Times, the midterms are really looking good for Democrats. CNN, is the White House prepared for a blue wave? CNN, 119 Republican House members should be very nervous today. Newsweek, will Democrats win the Senate in 2018? Latest polls suggest Republicans face threat of losing control in midterms. The Dallas News, can Democrats win in Texas? National contests show that 2018 is their best shot yet. This is one. Democrats can gain as many as 44 seats and emerge from November's midterm elections with control in the House of Representatives, according to a new forecasting tool. No doubt a tool said that. How Democrats can turn a blue wave into a new majority of the week. The Hill, GOP risks disaster with Kavanaugh midterms. NBC, yes, 2018 is shaping up to be another change election. Oh my God. Oh my God. David Kaplan. H.A. Goodman, October 8th, 2018. Hey, Dems, you cannot cheat in 435 districts and you are seen as total lunatics. Now what? Exactly, David Kaplan. Thank you, David Kaplan. Exactly. Exactly. They have nothing. They have nothing. And I really like Conor McGregor. I know he lost yesterday. I like him. And I love when he says, "You'll do nothing. You'll do nothing." Elizabeth Luker. So they'll do nothing. It's all just propaganda. They have a public relations machine that took me like 3 to 4 minutes to just of nonstop propaganda, public relations headlines. Public relations. Just public relations. And you're not going to get the 67 votes you need to pack the courts. You're not going to get the 430. You're not going to get the 290 votes out of 435 votes. I mean, these people don't realize that they actually have to implement their insane fantasies. What happens from insane, nonsensical, irrational, unbelievable fantasy and implementing this nonsense? Can you implement the nonsense? Can you implement the craziness? Do you have any chance at all of implementing this? They have zero chance of implementing any of this. They're not going to pack the courts. They're not going to pack the courts. They're not going to impeach Kavanaugh. That's another. They're not going to impeach Kavanaugh because you still need 67 senators. Dummies. What they can't do from a legislative perspective, about 2007, will we know about probably not. About 2007, probably not. We're going to find, we don't even really know the extent of the madness regarding the Steele dossier. This is all going down, and it's not going to end politically well for the Democratic Party, and they don't realize it. There's an iceberg called Hillary, the Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton iceberg. They don't get it. They don't realize what they're willingly steering their ship towards. And they keep on rehashing the same talking points from 2016. Great point also. Yeah, the Supreme Court is a different branch. We have the legislative branch, which they're not in power of. We have the executive branch, which they're not in power of. We have the judicial branch, and now they're losing power in the judicial branch. And Coney Barrett will be next. Coney Barrett will be next. And they don't realize that they don't have the power to make demands. They don't realize they don't have the power. You don't have 2/3 of the Senate or the House. You don't have 290 representatives. You don't have 67 senators. So just sit down. Stop pretending you could do any of the insane things that you claim you're going to be able to do. You're not going to be able to do any of it. Any of it. You're not going to be able to do any of it. But you're going to pretend. And then people are, if it takes a simple, just, look it up. See how it's possible to add another amendment to the Constitution, to pack the courts. See if that's possible. Well, we're going to fight fire with fire. Nah, you're not going to do anything, actually. You don't even have the power to win a simple presidential election. You don't even have the power to win in midterms after 2 years. After 2 years of nonstop propaganda, nonstop propaganda. And even their propaganda is stupid. Do you want a foreign power to attack this democracy? Well, how did they attack the democracy? Did anyone parachute down into our country? No, they hacked the DNC. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. They don't care. They don't care. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. They think they have a way to dictate power. Now Taylor Swift is coming into the mix as if she's going to influence any votes in Tennessee. Hollywood is good for one thing: entertainment. The music industry is pretty much good for one thing: entertainment. Entertainment. People listen to Taylor Swift or they watch Robert De Niro to be entertained, not to be not to be preached at. They don't get it. They think that they're more important than they are. They think that they have more influence than they have. They think because the Washington Post and the New York Times, they think if the Washington Post, the New York Times, CNN, and MSNBC say something, that because they say something, and I'm just letting you know also, Beto O'Rourke is not going to win Texas. So to the 1,060 people, if there are progressives watching, please remember I told you this. Andrew Gillum is not going to win Florida. It is a red state. It is a Trump state. If they wanted Medicare for all, there wouldn't be Debbie Wasserman Schultz would no longer be there. You would have Tim Canova. You wouldn't have Debbie Wasserman Schultz if they wanted Medicare for all. And you certainly wouldn't have Andrew Gillum fundraising with Hillary Clinton. But in Texas, you don't go into Texas and say you want, to take away people's firearms. That's not going to fly in Texas. Do you understand? Beto O'Rourke also had a drunk driving issue that he talked about in the debate. You're not going to win Texas like that. The Bernie Sanders-backed candidates are going to fail miserably. Miserably. And when they do, they're going to be attacked politically. They're going to be blamed. It will never, ever be Hillary Clinton's fault. And nobody wants abortion outlawed. Or I don't want abortion outlawed, but that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen in the Supreme Court because there are too many people in the country, even Republicans. Like, this is not like Medicare for all is not a Republican thing, but even Republican women would say, no, we don't want that. There are Republican women who do want abortion or Roe v. Wade overturned, absolutely. But then you could get the 2/3 Senate, 2/3 House. See, that would be the only way to get a constitutional amendment. Because it's just it's a part. Even if you think it's immoral, if you think it's unethical, that's a different story. That's a different story. It could very well be completely immoral. It could. I'm not going to even debate it now. But you can't, that would galvanize the entire country. That's something where that would unite, people. But this packing the court stuff and, we're going to stop this, and it is not feasible. It is not feasible to make demands when you have zero political power. And if you cared, and this is the issue, if you cared about the Supreme Court, or if you cared about any of the issues, Dr. Debo Cherry, I appreciate the support. I let's put it this way. There would be absolutely nothing to apologize, especially since a New York Times and CNN story, not spin, an actual story talking about a pretty crazy act of shutting down a dock. That's dangerous. I was 100% right about that. So then he accused me of things that like I didn't say or do. Like that's bizarre. So like a lot of the things that he actually accused me of, I didn't. So, you know. And you know, actions speak for themselves. Where is this person now? Why is he talking about me? And I respect you, Dr. DiBuccieri. Thank you. But why is he talking about me? I'm not talking about him. This, I mean, any disagreement we had was like a year old, over a year. So why would he bring up my name? I don't understand why somebody would bring up my name. That's the issue. That's the problem. Why would someone bring up my name in September or October of 2018 when in 2017 there was an issue? Why would somebody a year after the issue say this person owes me an apology? I don't understand that. That's my thing. It's like your actions speak for themselves. If you have an audience, let your analysis speak for itself. Let your input itself. I don't need the, you know how many people have wronged me? There are a lot of people who have attacked me. A lot of people. I don't ask for apologies a year later. So, I mean, I appreciate that. I appreciate you supporting the channel and definitely you want, but like, why would I apologize for something that I wasn't wrong on? The reality is this is not a spin. Like, it's not an analysis like, oh, high confidence regarding Russia. It's this person, another person actually did something. And that's actually a dangerous thing to do. And that happened. So my thing is this, you know, one thing I like about being a Trump supporter is that, and I look at the left, and the left is full of this. The left is full of different factions trying to ruin one another. Absolutely ruin one another. If it takes place for like a week or 2 weeks or whatever. It's a constant, never-ending battle to destroy and ruin and silence viewpoints. It's just a constant, never-ending, and I see it. There are actually different groups within the Democratic Party that just, I mean, I'm not going to name the different journalists, but there are journalists who are at each other's throats, and they actually believe 98% of, like, they have 98% of the same value system. It's the 2% that they're just constantly trying to say no. The other day, for example, because I'm no longer allowed. They can't, not that they ever hurt me, but like, they can't. It doesn't work. The guilt trip doesn't work with me. And that would be the same for that gentleman also. You owe me an apology. I don't owe you anything. Don't bring up my name a year later. You kidding me? What I've done this past year and what he's done this past year, I mean, it's like he does, I don't even know what he does, So I don't think that, but the left is like it's so bizarre that they're just always, always, always at each other's throats. So one person the other day went to me and he said on Twitter, he's like, "You don't want Medicare for all." I was like, I don't care, whatever. And then he talked about some kind of foreign policy issue that I disagree with him. I'm like, whatever, I don't care. It didn't faze me. If the left says you're the reason Trump's in power, I'd be like, oh, that's great, actually. That would be a compliment. That would be a compliment. But I mean, I don't like the whole YouTube. There have been bigger channels than mine that have tried to just actively hurt me. And it's like, I don't ask them for an apology. I just go ahead and make sure that the facts are the facts. So at the end of the day, a person's actions speak louder than words. Also, you have to wonder the motivation of somebody who brings up another person a year after whatever disagreement they have. It's bizarre. I would say that's bizarre at best. I'm being generous by saying it's bizarre. Thank you, Dr. DeBocherry. Thank you. One thing about me, I try to do this. I don't actively I'm not going to actively try to hurt anyone because I've never done that before. I don't, because there's no reason. People have actively tried to hurt me. Actively tried to hurt me, and it didn't work out well for them. It did not work out well for them, and I'm not going to go into it. Thank God. I think I'm hoping that either some kind of angel or something, but people in my life who have actively tried to hurt me, it's backfired on them. I kind of have something like kind of what Trump has, kind of. They try to hurt Trump, and it's this boomerang, and it hits them back in the head. Every time they try to hurt Trump, every single time, it backfires. Every single time. Access Hollywood tape, people are like, I'm just going to vote for, Hillary's scary. Cheating Bernie to get to Trump or whatever, elevating Trump, it doesn't work. It does not work. None of it works. None of it works. What did Taylor Swift say, by the way? Okay, I got to read this now. What did Taylor Swift say? Chas 1422, presumption of innocence is now, yeah. Sorry, I missed Chas 1422. Christopher, vote them out. Absolutely. Christopher, thank you. Let's go ahead and what did Taylor Swift say? Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift speaks out for politics. The first time endorses Democrat Phil Breedson. Okay, here we go. None of this is going to work. And it's taking a million years to. She has that Instagram post. Okay, so these are not my values. In the past, I've been reluctant. She cannot vote for someone who will not be willing to fight for the dignity of all Americans. Oh, here we go. Here we go. These are not my Tennessee values. Okay. You've actually helped Marsha Blackburn with that statement. And by the way, who said Marsha Blackburn wouldn't fight for all people of Tennessee, no matter what, the background is? I mean, this is an assumption here. I'm writing this post about the upcoming midterms. In the past, I've been reluctant to voice. I've always will cast my vote based on which candidate will protect and fight for human rights. Of course, the Republican won't, because the Republican is evil. I believe in a fight for LGBTQ rights. Then why? Okay, then there's a walkaway started by a gay man in New York, and he wants LGBTQ rights also. And he's saying walk and run away, walk away from the Democratic Party. I believe that systemic racism. Okay, then why would you vote for Kamala Harris, why would you want Kamala Harris to be, who was a prosecutor? In this country, towards people of color is terrifying. Thank you for speaking for all people of color. I cannot vote for someone who will not be willing to fight for the dignity of all Americans. That is a very vague value statement. Why would Marsha Blackburn not be willing to fight for the dignity of all Americans? What does that even mean? Sounds like a public relations spin to me. Running for the Senate is a woman named Marsha Blackburn. As much as I have in the past and would like to continue voting for women in office, I cannot support Marsha Blackburn. Oh, that's the best. As much as I would like to support women, this is one woman who disagrees with me, so she can take a hike. She can shove it where the sun don't shine. Her voting record in Congress appalls and terrifies. It is appalling. But against protect. Okay, she believes business right to refuse. She believes they should not have the right to marry. That's Hillary Clinton believed that. She voted against the reauthorization. I was voting for. Okay, she listed 3 things. What about foreign policy? What about economic policy? What about everything else? No, just those 2. Okay. Now I will be voting for Phil Breedson. Okay. Tennessee, I don't think is going to lean Democrat regarding this, but this is one contest I'm not 100% sure of, but I don't think Taylor Swift helped at all. Please educate yourself on the candidates. Yeah, why don't you talk about foreign policy or economic policy or anything else? Why don't you talk about the Trump-Russia myth that was created by Democrats? Yourself too, Taylor Swift. For a lot of us, we may never find a candidate. I bet you voted for Hillary Clinton, who called black youth super predators. You probably didn't mind that. So many intelligent, thoughtful, self-possessed people have turned 18 in the past 2 years and now have the right and privilege. Self-possessed? What does that mean? Yeah. Let's look at the polls matter that much, but okay, simple. So social issues, nothing about foreign policy, nothing about anything else, just David Kaplan watching the Dems go after Trump was like watching. Exactly. It'll be so great. Oh, Blackburn up 8 points over Breedson. It'll be so great. That's right. Well, look at that. Blackburn up 2. So it's Tennessee. Hello. I don't know why I wasn't as confident here. I'm not as confident with this Tennessee as I am with Texas and Florida. It's Tennessee is a red state. Florida is a red state. Now it is. after Trump. Texas is a red state for a long time. What is it with Democrats who think that if they act insane, they're going to get these red states? Tennessee is in the South. Republicans control the South. So I don't get how, and just because you're a Republican doesn't mean you're the, what about peace between North and South Korea? What about the fact that you're less likely in today's Republican Party, even though there are the McCain Republicans, yes, but you're less likely to engage in a regime change. But of course, it doesn't matter to the celebrities. They don't care. What do they care? It's not going to be pretty. It is not going to be pretty at all for Democrats. They are going to have the most epic meltdown, and it's going to be fantabulous. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an epic segment. I've really enjoyed this segment a lot because there was just, I was hearing a lot about this, and I'm like, I need to speak up again. This is so insane. We're going to pack the court. You don't get to dictate anything. You can't even get over 50 senators. You're not going to get 67. You don't even have 200 House of Representatives in the House. You're not going to get 290. So, ladies and gentlemen, God bless. Thank you so very much. This has been an epic segment, and I just want to say thank you to my moderators, Elizabeth Luker, Eric H526, Luke St. Martin, everyone. Thank you so very much. God bless. And thank you. I will see you all tomorrow. We're going to have an amazing, amazing week. And it's countdown. It's countdown until November 6, 2018. Be here on November 6, 2008. I've stated from the beginning, long before the Kavanaugh debacle, Republicans will keep the House, keep the Senate, gain in the Senate, and they will blame Bernie Sanders. They will blame, there will be a blame game on the left that will be of biblical proportions. Give me your thoughts below. The Democrats cannot pack anything. They can't eat the majority of state legislatures. They can't get the majority of governors' mansions, the House or the Senate or the executive. They're not in a position to make any demands. Any demands. They wouldn't get 2/3 of the House and 2/3 of the Senate for their ridiculous, nonsensical, irrational, packing the court demands. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe. Thank you so very, very much.